welcome back to another video. So today I'm finally doing something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I've been wanting to go ahead and make story time videos about all the retail jobs I've worked. A lot of y'all probably know me from my Forever 21 series that was on, my other channel that I let die for some reason. I still don't know what I'm gonna do with that channel. But I was planning on doing the rest of the stores, and I was gonna put on that channel, but since the rest of the stores are beauty related, I'm like, I'm gonna just put it on here. So today I'm going to be talking about when I worked at the Macy's makeup counter. Yes, I have the name tag. You can't see, you won't be able to see. Look, it says my name, but it's blurred, and it says Macy's. Today we're going to be talking about the good, then afterwards we're going to talk about the bad, and then the last video we'll be talking about the ugly. But today we're going to talk about the good because, I'm feeling good today. Also, I did plan this out. First, I need to figure out what's my foundation shade because, as you could see, she got tan lines. What's up? These were accidental, but they're still here, and I'm not naked. Have a shirt on. It's just really hot, and I really rather not be wearing clothes right now. I'm not gonna bore y'all. I'm gonna just figure this out, and then we'll start with the video. I'm not going to put too much emphasis on the products that I'm using today. I'll probably just flash a product on the screen or maybe have the title of it down below, whatever. But I'm not focusing on the products today, more just talking about the story. So at the beginning of this story, we have to go all the way back to when I was working still at Forever 21. Don't remember what year this was, but it was definitely for sure. I was working at Forever 21 for a year, and I knew when I first started working there, I told myself I wanted to work there for a year and a half just to get that retail experience, so that I could apply somewhere, hopefully that is makeup related or beauty related. It was a year, close to a year, I don't really remember, and I was getting fed up working there, so I was like, bump this, I'm gonna just start applying to a bunch of places. I applied to Sephora, I remember that. I don't remember other places I applied to. I think it was other clothing stores. Something in me told me to check Macy's, and also I'm not about to be apologizing for these neighbors, okay? I'm tired of doing that. Something in me told me to check Macy's, and I didn't want to because before I started working at Forever 21, I actually applied to Macy's. And I applied to a bunch of jobs at Macy's. I get a single interview. I also think I just put on way too much. Whatever, you live and you learn. So I really didn't want to check, but I was like, you know what, let me check. So I was checking Macy's, and then I believe I typed in cosmetics or something like that. And then I saw that they were actually hiring for their cosmetics, for their makeup department. I was like, okay, cool. And at that time, it was close to where I lived. I mean, also Forever 21 was close to where I lived at that time too. I was like, should I do it? Should I apply? But I was very hesitant because, for one, it said it was flex team member, and I did not know what flex team member was at the time. So I tried to, this is way too much, it's fine. So I tried to actually look up videos about being a flex team member for the beauty department. I couldn't find anything. I was like, this isn't helpful. So I said, bump it. I applied. I guess it was pretty easy. I really don't remember. It was so long ago. And I was like, okay, cool. So if they get back to me, they get back to me. If they don't, they don't, whatever. Honestly, I didn't think they were going to get back to me. So the next day, I remember I was going to work at Forever 21. And I looked at my email at 9 in the morning, got an email saying hey, girly, we want to set up an interview with you. Not verbatim, but you know what I mean. And I froze. Wait a dang minute. I'm about to have an interview at Macy's for the makeup department. Okay. I was excited. I told my friends and some of my coworkers at Forever 21 because a lot of people were trying to basically get out of Forever 21, and I was like, look, you want to apply to Macy's, I guess, and you get an interview. Okay, anyways, I don't remember how long after, gosh, I need to exfoliate. Jeez Louise. I don't remember exactly how long after that email I had an interview, but it wasn't fairly long. I think the most it was like a week, but I don't even think it was that. I definitely remember that day that I had to go to work, like basically right after that. So I remember I was all dressed up. I had like an all black dress, a blazer. I was wearing all black. I had a dress, blazer, heels, everything, look all professional, cute. Oh, I go, and I do my interview, and the guy that interviewed me, he actually was not the manager for the makeup department. He was the manager for the men's ready to wear or the men's suit department. I don't really know. But yeah, he interviewed me because he was like, oh yeah, the makeup department manager, she's not in today. I was like, okay, cool. Then he asked me like some basic questions. He didn't ask me really much about makeup, obviously. Well, I mean, like, he looked like he wasn't somebody that was interested in makeup, but he was a really cool guy. I don't remember his name either. But he was a really cool guy. He asked me, if I have customer service experience, and I don't really remember. I do remember he asked me, what do I do? And something told me to actually, tell the truth, because you know what? Sometimes for these jobs, you gotta lie. So I told him like, oh yeah, I act and I model. Thinking like, oh man, if I told him now I'm not gonna get the job. But he said, actually, that's perfect, because as a flex team member, you actually don't get a schedule. I was like, in my head, like, huh? But yeah, he was like, say you don't get a schedule. Like, we don't put you on the schedule. What you do is you pick up shifts from like, everybody else, or from whatever shifts just like weren't filled. So you create your own schedule, so you'll have enough time to be able to do like everything else that you do outside of work. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Once again, still don't remember the rest of the interview. That's really what I mostly remember. And then he said, okay, just give me about 5 minutes. I'll be right back, and see you. I don't know. He said, I'll be right back. I was like, okay, cool. So I sat there for maybe about like 5-7 minutes, and he came back and he was like, okay, I would like to offer you a job as a flex team member here. I was like, hold up, so I just got hired on the spot? Like, what? Okay, so he says, not asked me, but he says that I need to go to the HR office, or the hiring, I forgot exactly what it was called, but need to go to the office, sign some paperwork, get my booklet and everything, and then they were going to, figure out when I was going to start training. I was so excited. Oh my goodness. And also, I did not bring any extra clothes to change for work, because like I had to go to work, I think like probably like an hour right after that, but I didn't bring anything to change. I don't know. I went to work. I was super excited. I was trying to be like sneaky about like me working there low key. I was trying to like stuff my booklet deep in my purse. Luckily I had a deep purse, but also like that low key wasn't helpful either, but it didn't matter. I was like, oh my gosh, I am so excited. Anyways, fast forward to actual training. I did 2 days of training. The first day was actually I was on the computer. Yeah, the first day I was actually just training on the computer, learning like the basics, the like how to ring out customers like with Macy's, and also like safety stuff. I don't remember what was in that training at all. Why? Because I was so tired. I actually was nodding off during the training. I was nodding off during the training, and then all of a sudden the actual makeup department manager, she actually came in, and bro, I for one thought I knocked out completely. I guess I didn't. And then like I basically jumped up and was talking to them. 100% thought I was fired right then and there. I was like, well, I just messed it up because I was too tired. But no, she was introducing herself and to me, and also one other person because she also got hired as a flex team member. I tell you, I have no idea where I stopped because my thing stopped. Let's just speed run of what I basically said. So on the first day I went to work after I got hired on the spot. It was just training. I was on the computer, but I was having a hard time because like I kept nodding off. The actual manager, she came in to introduce herself to me and the other flex team member that got hired, because there was like maybe 3 people in the computer room, but other person was hired for, don't know that other person. And then I literally thought I was gonna get fired right on the spot because I was falling asleep. But she came in to introduce herself, to kind of explain the position, but also to explain that we get commission. We have to sign a contract for that. After she said we get commission, I was like, excuse me, commission? I was awake then, all right? I was wide awake. I was finishing that thing like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get commission. That whole day I just was on the computer. Then the next day I had training, which I think was the very next day. I had to finish what I had to do on the computer, but in between that I had to actually go on the floor and actually learn how to like do the thing. So I was taken to the Clinique counter and I was working with 2 of the Clinique employees, and they were just basically kind of like explaining like the basics of every counter, not just their counter. They were teaching me how to ring out customers and, you know, how to do the whole sticker thing, which I think that's just so weird, the whole sticker thing. Macy does, but you know, whatever, it's Macy's. I think Nordstrom does the same. Do they do the same thing? I really don't know. But they were teaching me how to do that, and you know, the credit card thing, and also like putting in your numbers, which they had me put in their number for the commission, which, you know, made sense because for one, I don't think I even knew my number yet, but also like we'll get more into it, but like they didn't know that I got commission too. After that I went upstairs to go finish my training. And then I remember my first shift was actually on Halloween. Yay! I don't remember what year this was. It could have been like 2016 or 2017. 100% don't remember. So before I actually talk about my first day, talk about my position, I was a flex team beauty member. So there's 3 positions. You're full-time, part-time, flex. So obviously they're pretty self-explanatory. Full-time, you're full-time 40 hours a week. Part-time is under like under 40, 30, something like that. I don't know. Flex team members, you don't get a schedule. What you do is you pick up shifts that people either drop, or there's just shifts that aren't filled out, or people give you their shifts, or people swap shifts with you. So Macy's and I think Nordstrom's has like this online system where like that's where the scheduling, you know, goes. That's how they do it, which with the pain of the scheduling at Forever 21, it was very refreshing. Very refreshing. So you basically do all that on the computer. For the full-time employees, they got the schedule out first. Part-time employees, they got the schedule out I think the week after that, and then the week after the part-time, that's when the schedule was open for all flex team members. I remember because I had to set an alarm like on the Sunday that I knew that the schedule was gonna come out. I had to put an alarm for like 5:55 a.m. because it opened at 6 a.m. and you gotta be quick picking up shifts, like baby quick. How do I know? Because you have to watch out for me. I was the one picking up shifts quick. But like also when I was like looking at shifts, like sometimes I'll look at a shift and be like, I don't know if I want to do that. And then I'll go click another shift and I was like, let me go check that shift again. It's gone like seconds later, like whoa. And there actually wasn't like a lot of flex team members, because me and that one girl that I was training with, girl, put on your makeup. Me and one girl I was training with, we got lucky and we actually got hired right before they started a holiday hire. So we were like permanent flex team members, meaning as like we still had our job after the holiday ended, but because we were permanent flex team members, we got commission. Usually flex team members don't get commission, especially if it's like holiday. And I think that's what most of the regular employees were used to, like flex team members. Once again, we gonna talk about that at some point. We were just lucky that we could build our own schedule and we still get commission. That's amazing, right? Okay, so on to my first shift. Like I said, it was on Halloween. It was actually a closing shift. And I was like, excuse me, a closing shift as my first shift? That's kind of terrifying. But luckily I was working with the counter manager of the counter that I was at. Actually, let me explain real quick. Let's try to map out what, the layout looked like. I worked at the Macy's that did not have like the popular brands, but like had like the OG brands. So there's the front door. One of the counters at the front was Estee Lauder, and next to it was Clinique. Then the next counter after that, I believe it was either the next 2 counters or the next 4 counters, were perfume counters. I did not like covering for perfume. And then after that, behind the perfume counters, there was Lancome, and then this one counter that had 3 brands. It had Shiseido, DERMABLEND, and Elizabeth Arden. I mostly worked at that counter because the counter manager, she didn't actually work a lot, but we'll get into that. So I was working with her, and she was showing me how, like, okay, well, this is how you do the returns, even though I learned how to do that in the training. But she was kind of like walking me through it, and saying like, okay, so for closing, what you really have to do is clean the counters, and then you have to count the money and drop it off in the box. First off, I'm like, wait a minute, you want me to count the money and go put it in the money box? Like, I felt so intimidated. And then also the returns, it felt intimidating too. But luckily she actually did the returns before I even before she left. So that day it really wasn't bad, but I do remember like the first product I sold was actually a Shiseido. It's the one in the blue small bottle. It's like SPF foundation type thing, where you have to like shake it to blend it up and everything. I remember I sold that, and that was already confusing because like the customer, she wanted to actually try it on, but like we didn't have a tester of it, literally of the shade she wanted. We didn't have a tester of it, so she had to buy it, then like had to try it out, and if it didn't work out, we had to return it, which like return it, swap it for the another one. It was confusing. I was already confused. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. But then it was closing time, and I went ahead and I believe I counted the money first. That was scary because like, you want the girl who's bad at math to count money? Like, but this actually wasn't as intimidating, to be honest. And then I cleaned the counter. Here is why you should pay attention, kids. When she said counter, I heard counters, as in all of the counters. So like, I literally cleaned all of the counters, even though everybody else had already cleaned their counters. I thought she meant all counters, because I was so used to like Forever 21 and like we're not leaving until like everything is done. I don't know, but I stayed like literally 40 minutes after my shift to like do that, and I was like, okay, well, that wasn't what I was supposed to do. I forgot to take my focus gummies. These really don't work, but they do taste good. But after that one time of me doing that, I never stayed late like that ever again, because there was no need. Because I didn't know that like, I didn't know that you were just allowed to literally clean up and close up your area like close to closing. Like 30 minutes, I'm seeing people like clean the counter. I'm seeing people do their returns and everything. All that good stuff, getting their stuff ready to go. And when it hits like, clock out time, baby, they clocking out and they out. So I'm gonna go ahead and explain the pay real quick. One thing that was very enticing about Macy's, and what made me realize why you always see like older ladies, like if they work there in their 20s and like they been working at Macy's and they like in their 50s, 60s now, I understand why. Because we got base pay plus commission Plus, we got paid for every credit card that we opened, and we got paid every week. Weekly pay? Man, like, that is so hard to find. Back then it was hard to find. Also hard to find now. Like, weekly pay? Child. Okay, so base pay was either minimum wage or whatever your base is, I guess, depending on what brand you work with, and also what your position is. So like your base, and then you get commission. So commission is different for every brand. We got 3 to 10%, and it depends on the brand. The biggest percentage, 10%, and that was at Clinique. So if you sell something with Clinique, you get a 10% commission. Now, a lot of people were actually trying to sell Clinique, but Clinique was smart and had their own people, or like they hired, their people, and like there was always their people there. So it was rare if you were able to sell like one Clinique item under your number. And the next highest commission was 4.5%, and that was for DERMABLEND. Girl, you don't work there no more. You don't have to do that. But it was for DERMABLEND. So once again, anybody, and there was no one that worked for like DERMABLEND like in the store anyway. So it's like anybody who sells it, you get 4.5%, and then for all the other brands it was 3%. Like, look, I would say that ain't bad. That is not bad. It was nice seeing a little extra, $30-$60 on that check every week. Weekly pay, y'all. Oh. Okay, and then for the credit cards. So on our computer system, there was this credit card like game board where depending on how many credit cards you open, it depends on how you get a certain amount of money. Okay, so if you open one credit card, you get $1. You open a second credit card, you get $1. You open a third credit card, you might get $2. You open a fourth credit card, you might get $4. Fifth credit card, you might get $5, all the way up to the end of the month. So basically, I guess they were trying to make you like open one credit card like every day, or which I didn't know. The rule was you're supposed to open a credit card for every 1 hour that you are scheduled during the week. So if you're scheduled for like 15 hours, you're expected to open 15 credit cards that week. I'm like, what? So yeah, it was all the way to the end of the month, and one employee, or one of my coworkers, she worked for Clinique. She actually completed the game board twice. I wasn't there for it, but she completed it twice. I'm like, girl, how? I'm gonna tell you right now, spoiler, I had the hardest time opening credit cards. I had the hardest time because I'm not gonna lie, I'm sorry Macy's, but this is a hot mess. Sorry Macy's, but like your credit card is really not that enticing compared to like some other places. Intent, a place I used to work at, one of their credit cards was pretty enticing. But yeah, their credit card is not that enticing, so it was kind of like hard. And also, I really just did not know how to get people to really, do it. But yeah, and also when you open a credit card, like in the process of opening one for a customer, like right after, they either get approved or like whatever, basically after you send the application in for the credit card, there's this little receipt that prints out that you keep, and it's literally for you to take to an employee. They scan it, and then you could get your money out literally right then and there. Well, a lot of people did. They like to actually save up their credit card receipts and then like cash them all out at once. Because I had such a hard time doing it, I just cash it out every single time. Like, it was only like $1 anyways, but like if you were good at it though, like if you were like that one, my bad, if you were like that one employee who completed it twice, girl, that's some money. Twice in 1 month though. In 1 month, like how do you do that? Whatever, I wasn't tripping over it, like good for her. I didn't really care, but I mean, hey, that was a nice bonus though. What I also liked about Macy's was also like the training. So like I said, there was no one that actually worked for DERMABLEND, but there were, I don't remember her position to be honest, but she worked for the actual like, I think corporate-ish DERMABLEND, but like she traveled to different stores and talked about like new products to the employees, you know, how to like sell it and the demonstration stuff like that, blah blah blah. I really like her. I really love her. I think I actually still have her number, to be honest. And she was training me and the other flex, new flex team member on, you know, DERMABLEND and stuff like that. To the DERMABLEND lady, apparently, to her surprise, I had quite a bit of knowledge of like makeup and everything. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. And like I was super like excited just to like learn about the brand and, you know, to do the little demo. Like I could do the demo for y'all right now if y'all want to, but I'm not gonna do that. But it was really cool. And she bought us coffee. She would always buy us stuff like whenever she came in and stuff like that. Also, one of the times she came in, that's how I learned about meal penalty, because she was training me. And then like I didn't go to lunch and literally was 1 minute before I had to clock out. And I did it really fast, and the department manager, she kind of low-key got mad and she was like, don't ever do that again. I was like, okay, it was an accident. So, you know, I went to lunch, but whatever. But it was so cool. Even after the training, we got like some free product. And also sometimes when she would come in, depending on how much you sold of DERMABLEND in like a certain amount of time, like while she was there or like when she left, then like you got more free product. And I was the one mostly getting the free product, to be honest, because I was doing what I needed to do, because I was like, free, baby. Even though y'all paying me well, you know what, I was being stupid with money, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, your girl was getting not only paid every week, but every other week getting 2 checks, because 2 jobs. Yeah, that was nice. That was nice. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, my like eye makeup is very horrendous, but let's trust the process and keep on going. So, I worked at that counter that had the 3 brands, like most of the time. I mean, like sometimes, it's not sometimes, actually, it was kind of quite a few times. I was covering shifts for like the other counters. And you know what's so cool? I wasn't just covering shifts for just like, oh, like sales associates. I was covering shifts for counter managers. So I was doing counter manager work until I realized like a couple days ago I was doing counter manager work with no counter manager pay. But yeah, I worked at that counter for like most of my shifts, like to the point where when I clocked in, I didn't even have to look at the sheet to see like if my name was on the sheet. I didn't even have to look on the schedule to see where I was going to be placed at that day. I knew I was going to be there. But then after a while I had to actually start looking, because there was a few times where it's like, I thought I was supposed to be here, but like, nope, they want you at Estee Lauder. Like, why? Okay. So yeah, and because I was working there for so long, and because the counter manager, she wasn't there a lot, and it was because I believe she was a part-time student, and she was gonna become a full-time student also. She couldn't be there a lot, and she was planning on like, you know, leaving, which is, you know, okay, cool, girl, go ahead, get that education. So I got so accustomed to selling like, you know, those brands and stuff like that. And I got really good at like, you know, upselling people and stuff. And then one time, not my counter manager, the department manager, she was actually in the department with, I think, the district or regional manager. I don't know. And then they were talking or whatever. And, because once again, I'm over here doing manager work, not with manager pay. When really everyone's supposed to do this, when you make a sale, you're actually supposed to write down like what you sell and the price and how many. I barely did that, but if it was just me at that counter, I did it because like whatever, it made me feel important. But like that day that the department manager was there, I decided to make myself look good. And I went up there and I told her that I sold like over $1,000 worth of Shiseido that day. You know what? I'll tell you why I really like that counter, because basically the stuff sold itself, to be honest. It was like, it had almost nothing to do with me. Sometimes it had something to do with me, but like most of the times it did not. So that was easy. But like I told her, yeah, like I sold over $1,000 worth of Shiseido, and it was like, they're like, you sold how much in one day? Because apparently that's not like typical for that brand or even that counter at this location. So yeah. And then like I think it was a few times like the employees at the other counter was like, why don't you just be the counter manager at this one, like at this counter, like you're always here, you know what you're doing, blah blah blah, like you should just be the counter manager. And then I believe I heard that the department manager was actually considering me becoming a counter manager. I was like, a counter manager? Like at that time I never had a manager position, and I still never had a manager position. So it was like, oh my gosh, me being considered for a being considered being considered for that type of position was just so cool to me. Okay, one of the cool things and also my favorite thing about working at Macy's was the breaks. So first off, basically every shift was a 9-hour/8-hour shift, because we got 1-hour lunches, like an hour for lunch, and we got 20-minute breaks. An hour for lunch and 20 minutes for breaks? Girl, what? Like, once again, I was so used to Forever 21. We got 30-minute lunches, 10-minute breaks. And like, for lunch, for one, obviously you could go in the break room. First off, the break room was pretty big, ample seating, nice TV, a couch, a massage chair, like 3 different vending machines, ample fridge space. And also every month they had like a list of people's birthdays, so they brought in like cake, cookies, and baked goods and stuff like that to celebrate. Like, what I like never touched those though. I don't know why, I just never touched them. But I got addicted to like sweet and spicy beef jerky because it was always in the vending machine. Ooh, and like these certain cookies. But anyways, but also you could literally go anywhere. So I worked in a mall where there was a Target. Party bad news. So I worked in a mall where there was a Target. I would go like get a chicken salad from like Target's little cafe area before it's now fully Starbucks. I would get like a chicken salad. Sometimes I would get like a pizza or whatever. But because I was so accustomed to eating, forgot to tell y'all. I was so accustomed to eating so fast, I would get done with my food in like 10, 15 minutes. So I would have like 45 to 50 minutes to myself to do nothing. So, my stupid self will go shopping. Yeah, stupid self will go shopping. If you, have been subscribed to me for a long time, you probably know, you probably kind of could recognize when I was shopping like a lot. There was this one particular haul where I bought a bunch of like Target clearance items. Yeah, it was because I was shopping at work. Like, girl, for one, you need to stop. Like, stop. But yeah, that was nice. I really like that. And the 20-minute breaks, yo, sometimes people took naps. Like, I feel like it was enough time to take a nap, like a quick 15, and then, you know, like you get your 5 minutes to like kind of wake up and be like, all right, time to go back to work. That was nice. I love that. Oh man. Another thing I liked about Macy's was that it was a quick clock in and clock out process. I know that's probably like a little thing or whatever, but like most of the times, you would clock in at one register because you could just do it on the registers. But also, like, if you wanted to, you literally could just go straight to your register and like clock in. So like, I don't think I was like ever late to work because like, baby, you could just like quickly run, clock it on your register and just already be there. But like what they really want you to do is to come in, go put your stuff away in their little break room. You could put your stuff in there, but you didn't have to. Luckily, they said like if anything gets stolen, honestly, it's on them because they didn't have lockers, but they had cameras. So if any of our stuff got stolen in like that room where you put stuff at, it was on them. I was like, okay, cool. But for like most of the like registers, counters, like all over the store, there was like little cubbies you could just put your stuff in. They didn't like that, but most of us still did it anyways. I actually did like the fact that I had more responsibilities. I like the fact that I had to, process the returns and go put them in the hazard bin. I like the fact that I had to count the money and fill out the form and put the money in the money box and sign in. Oh, I like the fact that when I was, covering for counter managers, that I was doing more counter manager like work, which was cool. What is falling? Because once again, it actually felt like, they saw me more as an adult. Rather, Forever 21, they like are always on your ass about something, and it's like, please leave me alone. I don't even like this place, and yet you like micromanage me. Like, I hate it. I think that's what it was. They didn't really micromanage. I'm not kidding. Didn't really see the department manager a lot. Really didn't. I saw her a good few times. I also do like the fact that, to be honest, it was boring. Not gonna lie. Because of the location I worked at, not a lot of people came. And also, if they did come, they kind of already just knew what they wanted. So it was like, you didn't really have to actually try to upsell them on really anything. Some people just knew. Literally, like, one customer I had at Shiseido, I was able to upsell her, but like, she literally went in knowing exactly what she wanted. That woman spent like $500 that day. I was like, huh? Like, this is just regular? Like, she just knew? Like, she just knew what she wanted? And like, that commission goes to me? Like, girl, what? But yeah, most of it was like boring. So I was able to actually learn about the brand. Some of the brands actually have books of either their products or their history. Like at the Estee Lauder counter, they had a book about their history. Elizabeth Arden had a book about their products and ingredients and stuff like that. So it was really nice. And then I was able to, talk to the employees and, get to know them and, ask for tips and, all this kind of stuff. And, hearing about their life. I don't really talk about my life too much. Kind of after Forever 21, I was kind of like, I'm just not gonna talk about my life too much. But yeah, I liked how it was boring. Didn't feel stressful. Sometimes I'm literally just standing there, or I'm like restocking stuff, and it wasn't like a lot of stuff, to be honest. Or I'm like organizing the samples or something. I don't know. I really did like that. It was boring. And the time when it wasn't boring, we had like events. I forgot what it was called, but it was like this ball thing. It wasn't really a ball, but basically, like, it was a cool event for, like, customers to come to. There was a lot of giftful purchases. There were some discounts, Then obviously, the credit card. Y'all could save an extra 20% if you open a credit card. But yeah, for that ball, like, it was cool because, for one, the dermatological woman, she came. And it was like a Christmas thing, so we had to dress up. I tried to dress up like Martha Whovier, whatever. The rich lady from How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I tried to dress up like her. It didn't really work, but I didn't care. I felt cool. But it was fun. I had to take customers go spin a wheel if they like spend a certain amount and they got like a gift or something. I don't know. I was like, oh, and they like decorated the place and stuff. Oh, even the break room during holidays, they decorated the place. And also they gave every employee like a what's it called? Them cards, thank you cards, Hallmark card. I don't know. They gave everybody that. And I was like, oh, that's actually kind of cute. Y'all didn't have to. It was cute. There wasn't like a gift card in there. I wish there was, but. Hey, so there was an employee discount. To be honest, it was like a basic employee discount. It was like 20% off. But not gonna lie, I mean, with all those high-end products, like 20% off actually does something. But the thing was, we had to actually have an employee card. So we either had to have an employee credit card or an employee debit card. Honestly, I like rarely used it. I had the debit card. I rarely used it because it was like low-key annoying. Like, especially if you have the debit card, you have to, for one, make sure you have like the exact amount of money. They were saying like, make sure you have the exact amount of money. So what people were doing is like, they would, do the calculations before they added the money on there, stuff like that. I wasn't that great with it. I was like, okay, it was kind of annoying. And also, like, I didn't really buy a lot of stuff there because I wasn't like interested in like most of the brands there. We're gonna talk about that in the next part though. But yeah, I remember I bought my mom's favorite perfume, Chanel No. 5, and my employee discount actually kind of helped. It went from like $120, the what size did I get? I forgot. But I think it went from like 120 to like less than $100 for me. I was like, nice. So you know, that was good. And we could use the employee discount. Like, you use your employee card like literally anywhere in the store. So I remember I bought my mom like her cross necklace. I think she still wears that cross necklace. I do remember that it broke because I think my dog accidentally broke it. Because you could also use your employee discount on top of, like, you know, sales. So, and I think that necklace was 50% off. So 50% off plus the 20. I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and get her this necklace. Okay, y'all, we almost done, but I'm gonna talk about this last thing, and then I'm gonna finish my eyeballs, because I'm not gonna be able to talk and do liner and lashes at the same time. But I also like the fact that you can actually text customers through the computer. So like at Macy's, what you want to do is you want to try to get the customer's number, so then you can remind them of sales, and like you can keep track of what they bought, remind them to, oh, you might need to repurchase this thing, but we have a sale, you're about to run out, blah 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 blah. I don't know, I kind of like that. That was kind of cool. So like, you know, every day I would go and I would check the messages. First off, check the events to see if we got any events. Then I would, you know, like check the text messages, see if anyone texted back. Like most people didn't, but like some people actually did. And you know, just, you know, not chit chat. It's like you weren't having a full conversation. Like you weren't, but you were just like answering their question and blah, blah, blah. I actually had my number, gave my number to one of the other employees because I was buying through her. And she put it in the system, and then I literally remember, it was actually not that long ago. I want to say it was about like a year or so ago. I actually got a text from her, and I don't think she remembered that it was me, but I got a text from her, and she was like promoting something from Macy's. I was like, girl, what? Like, you do know it's me, Sara, right? I'm gonna go and finish the rest of my eyeballs, and then I will come back and we gonna finish out this video. I feel like this was so boring. Like, just watching me do my face is probably so boring. Okay, I think I just need to give up on doing wing eyeliner because hot mess. But yeah, I finished my eyes. I used actually they're all right here. I use Miss A lashes in the style Alexis. I actually am not a huge fan of these. The style I'm not a huge fan of, and I use their Wonder Liquid eyeliner, and I use their lash glue, which I probably need to throw this one away. I think I have another one, but. So the next thing that I liked about working at Macy's is the fact that I get to learn a lot about the brand. Not only because, like, you know, on my downtime I could go ahead and you know, read like the books on either the products or the history or whatever, but like the employees, because like technically the employees that were like part-time or full-time didn't technically work for Macy's. They worked for the actual brand. Girl, I can't really explain it any better than that because I'm not good at explaining stuff. So they knew a lot. They would go on, I was about to say brand trips, but they would go and do like, you know, trainings and stuff to learn about new products that were coming in. So it was actually pretty nice to, you know, actually learn like while on the job and stuff, and learn from people. I never had the trainings because once again I was flex. I was not tied to a brand. So but like, you know, learning from other people and stuff was pretty cool. And then understanding, you know, how certain brands clientele, how they think, and how they, you know, question you know, the new products and, you know, what they want out of it and stuff, which it was kind of like, okay, I don't work for the brand, so ma'am, I don't know. But, you know, it was interesting to see that. But it was also interesting to see why that location was also not doing so well too. So okay, so like I said earlier, when it comes to, you know, scheduling for flex members, you know, you could just either pick up shifts, or people swap shifts, or people could just directly give you the shifts if they want to. And what was cool was that counter managers and employees wanted me specifically to cover their shifts, because not only was there like me and that other new flex member, which she actually left shortly after because she moved. But there was another flex team member. She was also permanent. But like when I came along, they were mostly wanting me to cover, you know, their shifts. So they would like directly ask me, or they would have another employee ask me like, hey, are you working this shift because this person wants you to cover them, blah 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 blah. That also kind of helped me when it came to the commissions as well, because like I said, at least with the Clinique one, it's like they mostly had their people there or whatever. But like one time I was actually covering the counter manager for Lancome, and I was covering the counter manager for Lancome, and then one of the Clinique employees, she actually had to go to the restroom or something. She had to go somewhere and do something. And she was like, can you wash the counter? I was like, okay, cool, yeah. And then shortly after somebody came, I helped them out. And then I said, okay, well, somebody will be there to ring you out when you have the chance, or when, you know, she comes back. So then she comes back, and then she's about to ring out the person, and then she was like, oh wait, did you help them? And I was like, yeah, I helped them, but you know, I left the stuff out, you know, there so that you could ring them up. And she was like, well, you did the work, so you could get the commission for it. I was like, you sure? And she was like, yeah, go ahead. And I was like, okay, cool, all right, cool. Which that's how I feel. If you did the work, you get the commission. Once again, that will be explained the bad though, because that was actually annoying. Yeah, I was getting, you know, people wanted me to cover their shifts a lot, which, you know, it was nice. And you know, they were nice in return, and stuff like that. And then also, if I needed to, like, you know, get a shift, you know, change, swaps, whatever, I could do that too. It's not like, oh, once I have the shift, I can't have it no more. It's like, no, I could also do the same thing as them, you know, drop it or whatever. Can y'all not do yard work while I'm filming? That would be so nice. They are right in front of my window. I hate it here. Okay, last but not least, what I also liked about Macy's is that I never got in trouble for being late. For one, I don't actually think I was late ever, because once again, the clock in system was so like convenient, where it's like, even if you're about to be like close to 1 minute late, like, dude, just hurry up and run to your register. Or not even that, sometimes you just run to the closest register and just ask them like, hey, can I just clock in real quick? And they'll be like, yeah, go ahead. You clock in and then boom. But one time, I guess I didn't ever get in trouble for calling out either. But like one time I was, you know, about to go into work. My mom was dropping me off, and I went to go close the car door, and I smashed my fingers in the car door. Like, how the hell does that happen? And I also had acrylics on too, so that extra hurt. So I actually went into work, and I called the manager, the department manager. Sara, stop talking. So I called the department manager because every counter on the inside actually has these phones where you could call the department manager, but also like call security if it was ever needed, which I never felt the need to call security. Actually, did I try to call security one time? No, I don't think I did actually. Or maybe I did. I don't no, you know what? I probably never did. You know, the department manager from those phones on the inside. So I went in, I literally called her, telling her like, I just got in and I just smashed my fingers in the car door. I'm not going to be able to work. And she was like, oh, okay, that's fine. And then I went right back home. Ooh. I went right back home, bandaged my my hand. Like, I never done that before, and that was terrifying. And now I'm like very cautious when it comes to closing car doors. So yeah, other than that, I was never really reprimanded. Even also one time I had an emergency, and I actually had to go to Target when I actually clocked in. And I told one of the counter managers, she was like, yeah, just go to Target. Didn't have to clock out or anything, didn't have to take an additional break, so I literally was shopping on the clock. It was an emergency, and I think she understood that. So yeah. But yeah, so far that was it. This girl, do I want to put some jewelry on first? So that is it for the good working at Macy's as a flex team member at the beauty department. The next video I'll be talking about the bad, and the last video I'll be talking about the ugly. I'm not gonna do like I did X amount of years ago with Forever 21, where it's like years later I finally post the last part. I'm not doing that because girl, we got 2 more other places to talk about. But yeah, I hope this helped somebody. I hope it did, because it sure would have helped me when I like was first working there. I mean, but it wasn't all that bad. You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, I'm gonna ooh, another thing, I got to like just take a bunch of samples home. Like I could just take samples and just take them home, and like, you know, whenever there was like a foundation that I wanted to take a sample of, I could just do it. Like I could just do it. And I did it quite a bit, and I also did it for my friends too. Like I really didn't care. But anyways, that is it for this video. If you like it, give it a like, comment down below. Did you enjoy it? And if you are subscribed, put this down. And if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. You know, having a fun time here, and I feel like, you know, a lot of people will like this. And also, you kind of don't. I have on a shirt, and you kind of don't want to miss the other 2, because the other 2 are more like favorites. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna go. Gosh, I hate these earrings. My ear itch. Bye.